The recent and unfortunate death of a software engineer due to flooding of an underpass has raised several questions on Bengaluru's crumbling infrastructure. Now, an international realty firm, Knight & Frank, carried out an extensive study on the reasons behind the flooding in Bengaluru. It's high time someone does. The study concluded that the city needs 600 kilometers of drains in addition to the existing 800 kilometers. This remodeling of the city's drains could cost the exchequer 2,800 crore rupees or $339 million. The study also found that the primary drains of the city along the natural drain valleys are still in existence and have not vanished as the secondary and tertiary drains. The city's growing population and real estate boom had led to encroachments of these drains, leading to the current urban flooding problem in the city. The study also revealed that the interconnections between the lakes that transferred excessive water have been damaged and encroached due to construction of concrete structures. Bengaluru's population is expected to rise to 18 million by the year 2031, and the infrastructure pressure on the city is only going to increase, as it is true about the rest of the metropolises in India. So, does this report evoke renewed hope for the recurring mess in Bengaluru year after year? Is this really the fix the city is looking for? Let's deep dive into it and figure what really is the real solution. To speak with us, we are being joined by guest Shantanu Mazumder, who is MRICS Executive Director at Knight Frank India. We should also be joined later by Sandeep Anirudhan, Convenor, Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru. Let me also tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that almost every day we have been focusing on the flooding and the mayhem that the rains create in Bengaluru. It's our endeavor, along with you, those who are watching the show, to find a solution rather than keep speaking about the problems. But then where will the solutions go unless there are problems? So we'll focus on both, but there is hope, one feels, and eternal. Sandeep Anirudhan, to put a proper perspective, to take a proper perspective of this entire thing. So Sandeep, thank you for joining. We're talking about this report, by called Bengaluru Urban Flood. I'm sure you've taken a look at it, considering that it's, you have. So the first thing is that they say that, we need to lay an additional 600 kilometers of stormwater drain to mitigate recurrent flooding in the city. Do you agree with that? Do you think that is one solution? Because you have focused, in debates after debates about how, Rajakalways, as they are known, they have been ruined totally in these last 50 years and nothing was done about it. So this report, I think, is, any solution is most welcome, no, Sandeep? I mean, anyone who's working for it. Do you think this is one solution, of having an additional 600 kilometers apart from the 800 odd kilometers?
Well, it is not rocket science to state the obvious, that of course a drainage network is required. It has been encroached upon, it has been destroyed. The report that you're referring to mentions that most of the Rajakalways have been reduced in half. We're talking only of length. They've also been shrunk by more than 90% in many places. So the carrying capacity of those is diminished by at least 90%. The other thing is we are talking of only drains here, and we are talking of a plan for drains, which is absolutely wrong. What we need is for a master plan for the city. You know why I'm stressing on this? If the city had a good master plan, we wouldn't have come to the state where we have to have plans for drains, because the catchment of water, water flows of the city, the topology, everything would have been factored in a master plan, and the development plan for the city would have taken into account these things, and the city would have had a proper growth. Because we don't have master plans, since we don't do master planning, we don't have a planning authority, we are left in this situation today. Now, the question is, the water that falls after a rain, how is it to be handled? Traditionally, it used to flow along the valleys. So basically, it used to flow through the floodplains, then the marshes, then into the Rajakalways, and then it would go from lake to lake, because we have like a interconnected series of lakes. But a lot of water used to percolate into the ground because soil was permeable. Right now, Bengaluru's top surface has become concretized. It's concretized to as much as 95%, which
Okay.
means water which used to percolate into the ground does not percolate anymore, which means the drains have to handle that extra capacity, maybe 50% under 100% or 200% more water flows into the drains. Now, this is another reason for flooding. And the third thing you have to remember is our drains used to have water seasonally. Our lakes also used to have water seasonally.
Huh.
Now we are in a situation where an equivalent amount of water is being pumped from Kaveri, that is about 100 kilometers away, into Bengaluru. Now those go into our bathrooms and kitchens and flow out into our Rajakaluways and lakes, which is why now they have water perennially, which means now the drains have to also handle the extra load. I mean, it's not like one rainy season. They have to handle 2 rainy seasons load of water.
Right. Tell me, Shantanu, how do you plan to go about this? You've said this is the solution. How do you move forward? And do you think it will be a permanent solution? Because, you know, like I see we already had stormwater drains. They were ruined. They were encroached upon. They are all clogged. Now, with extra thing, how are you going to maintain them is my question to you, Shantanu Mazumder.
There are two things we need to look at. One is today we know there is a population growth, there is a urbanization that has taken place. Also, we know that there is a climate change that is going on. So obviously, because of all these reasons, we are kind of facing this particular problem. I agree with Sandeep in terms of that the city needs a master plan. It needs to have a comprehensive stormwater master plan, and that is what is missing right now. And if we are going to have this particular master plan, you need to involve the experts, or you need to involve the urban planners, you need to involve the environmentalists, the stakeholders, and you have to kind of work out the entire feasibility. And also, not just the master plan, we have to also look at adopting alternate flood control techniques. So what was going on, whatever needs to be done, whatever has happened, but we need to do a course correction right now. And by having this particular master plan with all the experts on board, we have to design a system which is going to be foolproof for the next 50, 60, 100 years. I think that is what is required to be done right now at this particular point of time. And in terms of development, yes, the development will not stop. The development will continue to happen. So
Right.
we have to figure it out how the development and the entire thing needs to kind of go hand in hand. We also kind of did a bit of a study in terms of how much time it will take if you want to, if the will is there to have this particular committee in place and have to need to have a particular master plan, comprehensive master plan. Probably it is going to take a year and a half for you to kind of put your house into order.
Right.
But then after that, you have to go ahead with the execution.
Absolutely. Very well said. You know, Sandeep, I want to come to you now. They have a plan. And Sandeep, Shantanu said that yes, master plan, he concurs with you. But the point is that one can't do it in isolation, right? I mean, a couple of us, we can't get together. We can only say this is possible. Unless there is an involvement, a partnership with BBMP, with the local government, with the government of the day. I mean, how does that happen? Because if you look at it, a lot of people also blame no elections in BBMP for more than 2 years as one of the reasons that Bengaluru has been left to the designs of erratic nature. You know, climate change is also a very important part of this report because they said it's erratic. What do? We can only look for solutions. So do you think, because this has been suggested even earlier, lots of experts have come together, you know, in the ex-chief minister Bommai's time, 1500 crores was given to BBMP and said you go and play with it. But like I'm asking, don't you think there has to be a proper kind of commitment for this plan to go further? And those who are watching this show, this is for the betterment of Bengaluru. Yes, go on, Sandeep.
Sudha, many people are not aware that a draft RMP 2031 plan is already ready. In 2018 and 19, it was open to public consultation. In fact, it is a very well made master plan, surprisingly, even though it was not followed the 74th Amendment mandate. So here's what I suggest. Don't wait to create a fresh. The government, the previous BJP government was trying to create a fresh master plan. It called tenders, then it cancelled it. Again, it called tenders. In fact, 2031 RMP master plan has also been held up by the courts because it has not followed the process that is listed in the 74th Amendment. Now, again, the government keeps making the same mistakes. Again, it asks the BDA to make master plans and it gets held up in courts. Now, the master plan has multiple layers. It also has a drainage plan. It has an ecology plan. It actually has a drainage plan. So, why should we create a drainage plan separately? It's not necessary. The city's comprehensive development plan is what has to take into account all aspects of the city's development,
Right.
which includes the drainage plan, lakes, forests, everything, ecology. So here's my suggestion. The draft RMP 2031 is already ready. It is pretty well made. I have seen lots of it. It's extremely well made. Maybe there are some errors. So to comply with the 74th Amendment, all they have to do, see, we already have a Metropolitan Planning Committee,
Right.
which is not functional. So the first thing DK Shivkumar, the Bangalore City Development Minister, can do is empower the Metropolitan Planning Committee, because that is the planning authority. He has to appoint members to it. This can be his first achievement in office. Once the MPC is ready, it can adopt the RMP 2031, review it, and open it for public consultation from every ward level and area level.
Right.
Take inputs from every ward and area, integrate it into this. Within 6 months, you can issue the next master plan for the city. It is not rocket science. It is already ready. It has gone through multiple reviews. All it needs is proper official due process. Why is it such a big problem to solve? It is an easy problem to solve.
Yeah, but
it can be done because it's already
you,
ready.
yeah, because you know, Sandeep, you've raised a question. So the thing is that I will throw that question to Shantanu, and ladies and gentlemen, those who are watching this program, that's what we are talking about. Look at this final solution for Bengaluru's mess. Perhaps, you know, this is the final solution. Maybe next year, if people like organizations and people come together, maybe, who knows, next year in monsoon, you can actually enjoy the rains in Bengaluru. That's my wish. That's absolutely my wish. It's a city that I truly, truly love and also belong to.